good afternoon to everyone, and thank you for making time to be together in at least two dimensions. I'm Kathleen Kelly. I have the privilege in Palm Desert's rotation system to serve as mayor this year. And I'm joined by Mayor Pro Tem Jan Harnick, as well as quite a few others I'll mention in just a moment. The proposed arena is not within the city limits of Palm Desert. It's proposed in an unincorporated part of the county, which is just over the freeway from Palm Desert. And as a result, of course, we're quite interested in how it might impact our city and our residents. So because there has thankfully been quite a lot of press about the proposed arena, we have great local press. I know, and your council knows, the residents have increasing interest. So this two-dimensional forum has been scheduled primarily to give our residents, especially those in the north sphere of Palm Desert, which, just to confuse you, is south of the freeway, an opportunity to hear directly from the developers what's proposed, and most especially to voice your questions, your perceptions, and hear a bit about what process will take place from this point forward. It's of keen interest to Palm Desert to make sure that our residents have that opportunity to express themselves and be heard by those who will make decisions. So we are especially pleased that our Supervisor Perez, is with us. And I wonder if you'd like to say just a few words of welcome.
Thank you, Madam Mayor Kelly, Vice Mayor Harnick, staff, colleagues, friends of the 4th District, and all of those that are working on behalf of the arena. And I'm going to be brief, just want to say thank you for this forum. Madam Mayor, thank you for bringing this forward. I think it is important, although this is an unincorporated area, the Thousand Palms area. We want to obviously be good neighbors. And that's always important to hear the concerns of our neighbors and ensuring success and ensuring ultimately that folks' voices, concerns are heard and addressed. And so with that, I'll leave it at that point. And I'm looking forward to listening to the points and thoughts of our folks within Palm Desert and elsewhere. Thank you.
And thank you. We appreciate your service very, very much. We're also joined by, I was about to say, Palm Desert's new city manager, but we've actually broken him in pretty well by now. Todd Heilman is with us, as well as select staff members from the city of Palm Desert who may have occasion to chip in depending upon what the questions are. And we've invited representatives from the developers of the proposed arena, led by John Bolton. And I'm going to ask them to start this session by telling their story a bit, so we have a context for questions and perceptions that folks would like to share. at the end of that presentation, I'll have just some brief instructions before we start to take questions. So heed the information for the time being. And Mr. Bolton, I'll ask you to introduce yourself and
is a dinner.
And those who are
barely hearing this.
Well, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Supervisor Perez. It's really an honor to be here today, and I really appreciate this opportunity to connect with everyone on the call. Also joining me today is Tony Lacacciato from Meridian Consultants. Tony has been working with Riverside County during the entitlement process. Also, Michael Bates with the Mobility Group. He's also been working with Riverside County on their traffic and parking analysis. And also Nick Faro, who will be president of the American Hockey League team that will be here in the Coachella Valley. So with that said, I want to share my screen here if that's good for everybody. We'll start there. So just a little bit about Oakview Group. And I first should probably say a little bit about myself. I'm John Bolton. I'm Senior Vice President and General Manager of the Coachella Valley Arena, which is the most important title that I have. Have been living here in the Coachella Valley for over a year now. Have been here many, many times, owned a condo here for a long time, but happy to be a full-time resident now here in the Coachella Valley. When I first started talking to former Mayor Nasandy about this project last fall, one of the things was really because so many, amazing projects are announced and a lot of times they don't happen, what would be the reality of this project actually coming to fruition? And with Oakview Group, I'm excited that we are involved in really being the largest developer of sports and entertainment facilities in the world right now. We have $4.5 billion of capital deployed across 8 projects. And some of those you may have heard of, but I just wanted to share these with you to let everyone know that we are serious about this project. We want this project to happen, and it is very important to us, as I'll discuss a little later. But opening this fall in Seattle will be the Climate Pledge Arena. This will be the first net zero carbon certified arena in the world. So a big accomplishment for our company, and excited that it will be opening this fall. Followed by that, in the historic Belmont Park in New York, we'll be opening the UBS Arena in November. And then followed by that, at the University of Texas in Austin, a new arena there that'll be opening the first part of 2022. In addition, a new arena in Savannah, Georgia. And then of course, for us in the fall of 22 here in the Coachella Valley. We also have a project that's under construction in Manchester, England, a new 24,000 seat venue that will open in 2023. Cardiff Arena in Wales in the UK will open in 2023. And then closing out for the 26th Olympics in Milan, Italy, we're building a new arena as part of that big event. A little bit about the founders of our company. They really are icons in the industry. Tim Lawicki, you may have heard of, obviously was CEO of AEG and really the guy behind the scenes that really created Staples Center in LA Live, also the O2 Arena in London. And also another founder of our company is Irving Azoff, one of the most powerful men in music, and obviously personal manager for some of the biggest music groups in the world, including the Eagles, Fleetwood Mac, Bon Jovi, and many others. I mention these two because even though we're an international company, both of these guys have residencies here in the desert. So this project is extremely special to them and important to them because they live here. I wanted to talk a little bit about the site. I know a lot of people wonder exactly where it is, but it is in front of the Classic Club Golf Course. We were excited about this location because of its accessibility from I-10, obviously the visibility, and of course having undeveloped land all around the project was very, very critical to us. And then also having the ability to have on-site parking was very important to us when we moved locations from downtown Palm Springs. I included two visuals here, one kind of a night shot of what the arena will look like, and also one during the day. So you get an idea of both perspectives once the facility is built. The architects really worked hard to design the building that kind of fit into the landscape of the desert, but also one that wouldn't be obstructive to the views of the desert as well. And this facility will be about 63 feet tall. So in comparison to a hotel, 3 to 4 story hotel. What's really kind of unique and special, I think, about this project is that you really walk into the arena on ground level and you go down to your seat. So they're really 90% of all the seats are in that lower bowl. So it really creates a really neat, intimate environment for concerts and for hockey. Some of the interior shots in the concourses there, some of the clubs in the building. So a little bit about the programming, which I think is important for everyone to understand. In the traffic studies that were done, we looked at roughly 159 events annually, 46 of those being American Hockey League games, 38 of those during regular season, and then also some pre and post-season events with average attendance around 7,500, those occurring from the time periods of 7 to 9:30. Mostly on weekends, but also during the weekdays. In addition, roughly 45 concerts with average attendance roughly 7,500. Most of those typically would occur on the weekends during the off-peak hours of 7 to 11 p.m. More on the weekends, Friday and Saturday, roughly starting at 8 p.m. In addition, around 38 family shows, typically occurring on the weekends. When I mean family shows, things like Disney on Ice, Cirque du Soleil, wrestling, Harlem Globetrotters, things like that. Those would typically occur on the weekend, but also have evening events, but also matinees on those Saturdays and Sundays as well. In addition, another 10 other sporting events from the NHL to NBA exhibition games, boxing, those kind of events, and then some smaller events such as graduations, meetings, and conventions. Our construction timeline, we hope to start as soon as possible, which would allow us to be complete in the fall of 2022 in time for the 22-23 hockey season. From a sound perspective, all of our events will be indoors. So from a people thinking about that from a neighborhood perspective, everything will be indoors. So the only exterior sound would be for what we would have for safety and emergency uses at the venue entrances. Exterior lighting, you saw kind of, I gave you the day shot and the evening shot to give you an idea of what it would look like. There will be an outdoor marquee with frontage to I-10 there along Varner Road. And of course, there would be some signage on the venue as well, letting people know that that is the particular name of the venue. And of course, your normal safety lighting package for streets and stuff like that. So from a parking and traffic perspective, I mentioned the 3,000 surface slot parking spaces directly adjacent to the arena. Michael Bates, who will follow me, will kind of talk about the traffic studies, and most importantly, the traffic management plan, a tool used by arenas throughout the country to deal with flow of traffic during these times where we have events, and he'll give you more information on that. From an economic standpoint, we are ready to award roughly $203 million in contracts to different construction companies, with roughly 80 million of that being labor income. And that translates to roughly 1,400 new jobs for the Valley once we start construction through November of 22, roughly an 18-month build. Post-construction, we'll have roughly 420 new full-time equivalent jobs that will start once we open. That will be my team and as well as the hockey team. And over the life of the project, roughly a $3 billion total economic output. From a communication standpoint, in a lot of the meetings that I've had with the homeowners associations and different neighbors, I wanted to assure everyone that on my staff, we'll have a full-time dedicated neighborhood and community relations manager. Once we get started in earnest and on the project from a construction update, Everyone will be welcome to join our database, and we'll be sending weekly emails about the construction process, neighborhood meetings from construction start to completion of those that will be affected by the construction process. Obviously, we will have preview events for our adjacent neighborhoods. And then, of course, once we open, the communication doesn't stop there. We will have quarterly neighborhood and stakeholder meetings and social events with our neighbors. And of course, during construction and after opening, hotline and email for anyone that has concerns or questions. I also mentioned this, if you're interested and you're on the call, we have partnered with the Desert Sun for several months now and done recorded webinars about different aspects of the project, with the most recent one on parking and traffic being released this afternoon. From a fire and safety standpoint, obviously every major project that is developed pays developmental fees. And for the North Star project, it's roughly 6.4 million, with the arena portion being 1.2 million. And then the recurring direct physical impacts for Riverside County, roughly $700,000 per year annually. A little bit about the arena from a fire and safety perspective. We aren't your typical retail establishment. We are a little bit more sophisticated in that all of our events occur at a specific time period. So it allows us to really have a lot of staff on site that are really helpful, I think, in understanding how our operation works. So we have staff, security staff, full-time, 24 hours, 7 days a week at the arena. Every attendee that attends an event at the arena will go through a detection process before they enter the facility. We will have on-site uniform and non-uniform security officers, fire watch staff, emergency medical technicians, on-site ambulance for transport, a dedicated command center, and a dedicated medical center. And I mentioned the medical part because a lot of the calls that we see for arenas are medical related. And because we have EMTs on site, plus an ambulance available to transport them to a hospital should something happen and they need to be transported, they're already there. So that helps cut down on those fire and safety calls to the facility. As an example, kind of the most relevant, closest arena to us is Toyota Arena in Ontario, California. It's roughly the same size venue as us. In 2019, they had 300 event days and 2 million visitors. During that time, they had 6 fire alarms, 2 vehicle fires, and roughly 30 medical calls for service. So as you can see there, the stats are, no fires, few fire alarms, and 2 to 3 medical calls per month. And then another one there, Chase Center in San Francisco, same type of process there. So I'm going to turn it over to Tony now. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, hopefully, and give Tony the chance to walk through his presentation on the entitlement process. Tony, are you there?
Yes, John, I'm just hitting screen share right now, waiting for it to. You have stopped sharing screen, John? Let's try this again.
We can hear you and see you.
Great, but the screen share is not reacting here. Okay, now you should see my screen. It says I'm screen sharing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, John. I'm Tony Lacacciat. I'm a partner with Meridian Consultants. We're environmental planning consultants. We've been working on major projects in the Coachella Valley for over 25 years. Actually worked on the City of Palm Desert's University Park Specific Plan project, helped prepare the Sun City Palm Desert Environmental Impact Report for the County of Riverside, Just finished working on the Section 24 and Section 31 specific plans next door in the city of Rancho Mirage. And back in 2013, 2014, we got to prepare the technical studies and environmental impact report for the city of Indio that set up the long-term permit program for Coachella and Stagecoach music festivals. So I just wanted to give you a little overview of the planning context of the arena project. What's shown on this first slide, as John mentioned, the arena is proposed in the 455-acre North Star specific plan area. This was a specific plan approved by the county in 2006. Shown the arena site is right there off the plan main entry road. And I know you're all used to seeing the Classic Club and its clubhouse out there, which are the only portions of this North Star project that have been developed to date. This area was first approved by the county for development in 1981. There were a couple of amendments to the specific plan, then approved in 1988, 1998 to react to changes in the marketplace and the owner's plans for development out there. In 2005, the county approved the plans for the golf course and the clubhouse. In 2006, another major amendment was proposed. At that time, the county prepared a new full environmental impact report, ER number 470. And this major amendment approved a variety of recreation, residential, commercial, and light industrial uses out there on that 455 acres. And in 2007, the Classic Club golf course and its clubhouse were completed. So you can see a long history. The county's been reviewing development plans on this site. This is the planning area map from the approved 2006 specific plan. The large golf course area in green above is there. Planning area 2 over here has the clubhouse. There's residential uses approved south of the golf course, a large retail area here in planning area 7. And then this large lavender or purple planning area is light industrial uses. It's an industrial park planning area that's approved for development right now of 1.2 million square feet of office and light industrial buildings. This is the illustrative plan that shows the uses allowed by the 2006 specific plan as approved. John already showed you the arena plan itself. Right here, we can see the main entry road that comes into the North Star specific plan area. The arena's proposed immediately east of that main entry drive off of Varna Road. The proposed amendment to the plan would reconfigure the planning areas to create a new planning area 11 on Varna Road, shown here with the arena and the parking areas. And that would be created by reducing the size of the business park planning area. And some minor reconfiguration. So the arena would be located immediately east of the planned retail commercial uses. And this is the revised illustrative plan with the proposed arena integrated into the overall land use plan for the North Star project. So the applications were made to the county would first a specific plan amendment that would reduce the size of that large industrial park area from 70 acres to about 28 acres, some minor adjustments to the boundaries and neighboring planning areas. And when that business park area gets reduced, it reduced the amount of light industrial and office development allowed by the plan from 1.2 million square feet to 381,000 square feet. What's proposed in new planning area 11 is the 260,000 square foot arena, and next to it, a 35,000 square foot hockey training center, which has a second sheet of ice in the offices and training areas for the new AHL team. So the change essentially is replacing about 820,000 square feet of office and light industrial uses that are already approved with the 300,000 square foot arena and training center. There's some corresponding changes to the Western Coachella Valley area plan, which is the general plan land use element for the valley, and then a change of zone, which would incorporate the revised specific plan into the county zoning ordinance. Every specific plan the county or Riverside approves is incorporated into the county zoning ordinances. Specific to the arena, the approvals would be a plot plan, which is the plan for the arrangement of the building and parking areas, and a parcel map to create 2 parcels, one for the arena and one for the parking area. Technical studies and environmental review documentation completed is in the form of an addendum to that 2006 EIR number 470. The county commissioned all new technical studies, so I want to emphasize that the addendum is not incorporated or using information from the 2006 EIR, but all new analysis was completed, including new air quality study, new geology and geotechnical studies. There were a couple topics that now have to be addressed in environmental review documents under the California Environmental Quality Act that didn't have to be addressed back in 2006. One of those is looking at greenhouse gas emissions. So a new study was completed to look at the greenhouse gas emissions that would be associated with the proposed change in land use. Updated hydrology studies, the review by the Coachella Valley Water District. Updated noise studies. Updated transportation studies. Kind of a traditional traffic study that Mike Bates will talk about in a minute, transportation impact analysis report. And also we had another change to the California Environmental Quality Act last year that now also requires that the CEQA determinations be based on analysis of how many vehicle miles of travel will be induced by a project. That's tied into our statewide goals to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and meet our statewide targets. So we've actually changed the way we look at transportation. So a new study was commissioned on that. Updated water and sewer hydraulic modeling was completed by the Coachella Valley Water District to make sure they'd have sufficient capacity. A water supply assessment was prepared for the 2006 EIR. A complete update of that study was completed and reviewed by the Coachella Valley Water District. As John mentioned, there are some signs proposed along the freeway, so a technical lighting report was completed to look at the light levels from those signs. Utility studies were completed. At the end of Cook Street, Imperial Irrigation District's proposing to close a gap in their existing distribution line. And so some studies were completed for that at the end of Cook Street, including looking at the potential for biological and cultural resource impacts. They're going to be putting up 11 new power poles to close a 1,600-foot gap in their distribution line. There's also will serve letters each utility provider was checked in with to make sure they'd have adequate capacity and facilities to serve the arena. Just want to go over just a few illustrations of the examples of some of the technical analysis and the addendum to the EIR. First, with traffic, the adopted specific plan, as currently approved, would generate almost 39,000 daily trips, with about 2,200 of those in the morning peak commute hour and about 3,800 in the afternoon peak commute hour. When you replace that 820,000 square feet of office and light industrial uses with the arena, which does operate for fewer days per year, overall, the daily trips will go down a little. If you look at the average concert event, the morning peak hour trips would drop pretty substantially because the arena doesn't really operate in the morning. And then the PM peak hour trips during the traditional PM peak hour, the evening commute hour everybody's used to, would actually drop a little bit for the average concert event. Mike Bates will go into that a little more because the arena events start at 7 p.m. Its peak is a little later than the peak traffic hour for everybody else in the valley. I mentioned that vehicle miles traveled study. The county asked for a comparison of the vehicle miles traveled that would be induced by all the uses allowed by the specific plan as approved in 2006 and what the change would be with the arena. And essentially, it came out about the same, less than a 1% change in the overall amount of traffic. Greenhouse gas emissions, again, since that wasn't studied in 2006, we looked at the amount of greenhouse gas emissions would be generated by the approved uses and with the change, substituting the arena for the business park uses. GHG emissions would go down a little. Solid waste would drop, and the update of the water supply assessment showed overall water demand for the North Star specific plan project as a whole would also drop a little. So those are just a few examples of the level of detail. That's certainly not all the information that's in the addendum to the EIR, which is available on the county's website for review. And I'm going to turn it over to Mike Bates from the mobility group to talk about traffic.